So you're thinking about moving to the newest city in Florida, Westlake, Florida, also the home of the largest master plan community in South Florida? If that's the case, then this video is for you. My name is Ray Fernandez. I am with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. If this is the first time to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button over there. While you're at it, ring that bell. What that'll do is that'll notify you each time we put out a new video. We put out new videos every single week. We talk about all things going on around South Florida. So if you're interested in what it's like to eat, sleep, and drink here in sunny South Florida, this channel is for you. 15 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the country we call South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we find it truly an honor to help people, perhaps like you, do exactly the same thing. We have helped so many people relocate to this beautiful part of the world we call South Florida and Palm Beach, Florida, and we absolutely love it. So if you find yourself thinking about what it's like to live here, if you have questions about what's involved to relocate down to South Florida, well, there's a couple of ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one way. Also, you see on the screen is our phone number. You can either call or text that number. Two great ways to get a hold of us. In the description and in the comment section, there's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll help set up either a phone call or a Zoom call, whatever you're more comfortable with. In either case, we have your back when it comes to relocating to here in sunny South Florida. Many of you have heard of the new master plan community called Westlake, Florida, and you might have questions. In this video, we're going to review the pros and the cons when it comes to moving to Westlake, Florida. Just to give you a little history of what Westlake is all about, way back when the builder Minto bought several acres of property, 3,800 acres of property, in an area which was surrounded by Loxahatchee and Loxahatchee Groves. Minto bought it with the intention of building there, and they ran into some roadblocks when it comes to permitting and what the towns were asking of them. So they just said, heck with it. I'm going to go and we're going to make our own city, and that's one of the ways they sidestepped some of the rules, which made some people unhappy at the time. So needless to say, in 2016, Westlake was incorporated and became Florida's newest city. Westlake has since sold some portions of that land to other people, to other entities. As an example, in 2019, they sold a good chunk of that land to Wellington Regional Hospital. Wellington felt that there was going to be great growth out there, so and you can see their presence are now already. So they bought some property out there to build a hospital. You can see their the emergency room already on display in the city of Westlake. Minto also sold it to two other builders. They were careful about who they sold this property to because they didn't want to sell it to a builder that was going to compete with them. So they had no interest in getting into the 55 and older space in this area. They've done it before, but they didn't want to get into it in this area. So they felt very comfortable in selling parts of that land to Coulter Builders, which now has the community that we called Crestwind. Minto also sold another piece of property to another builder by the name of Label & Company. The Label & Company now has this community that we call Sky Cove. So you might ask, where is Westlake? Well, Westlake is very far west in, as the name says, in Palm Beach County. It's actually just north of those areas I just spoke of, Loxahatchee and Loxahatchee Groves. It's in a good location from a standpoint you can get to a lot of things fairly easily. It's close enough to get into Royal Palm Beach. It's close enough to get to the Wellington. So if you want to go into all the shopping that Wellington provides, such as Wellington Green Mall, it's pretty good. It's also a little bit north of all that stuff. So if you want to take a trip into Palm Beach Gardens, it's also not so difficult to get to the gardens from Westlake. Now, what you find here in South Florida, in that area, you have a few other master plan communities that have developed. So just north of Westlake is another master plan community I've talked about in the past called Avenir, which is actually in the city of Palm Beach Gardens. And if you go a little bit south and a little bit more west, the first of those, the bunch of those master plan communities is a community called Arden. Obviously, if you have questions about any of those master plan communities, we do a lot of business. We have very strong relationships with all the builders out there, so reach out. So the first pro when we're talking about moving to Westlake, Florida is things are going to move out there. There's a lot of things already. You can see a lot of businesses and entities looking to move out there, and you're going to see a big increase in commerce. So if you're interested in living in an area where it's going to just do nothing but grow, Westlake is a great place for you. As I mentioned, the Wellington Regional Hospital moved out there, so they're bringing stuff such as that. They're building an area called the Westlake Town Center, and there are certain things that are still coming in there, but they're bringing that out there. Also, the schools are also one of the entities. Currently, the schools they use are Wellington schools, with the exception of the high school, which is already built. So they use a high school by the name of Seminole Ridge, which I hear from many people who go there are quite happy with it. They're also in the process of building bringing other schools, charter schools and such. When all is said and done, Westlake is going to be a total of 4,500 homes. It's only about a third built. So although they started now going back a few years, there's still a lot of growth in that area. Oh, also to mention what else is coming out there, because of the growth out there, the Palm Beach County Appraiser's Office, the tax collector, moved out there. They previously had their offices in Royal Palm Beach. So you're seeing, whether it's government entities or commerce, a lot of entities are moving to Westlake, Florida. So I'm gonna give you one of the cons when it comes to moving to Westlake, Florida. If you're used to an area where you're going to go out and just go into a neighborhood, a street filled with shopping and restaurants, if that's what you're thinking, if that's what you want, then Westlake is not for you. I'm thinking of places such as downtown West Palm Beach. I'm thinking of places like downtown Delray, or in downtown Delray, there's a place, I've talked about this before, Atlantic Avenue, that many people call the Avenue. So you're not gonna have that bright nightlife and so forth that you're gonna find in Westlake. It's gonna primarily be a large suburb. Now, adding to that, some people actually, I said it's convenient to a lot of things. Some people might think it is out of the way. So if you wanna go to the beach, something like that, it's not that far, but some people might say, well, it's too far west. So if you're looking to go to the beach and you want to do it on a regular basis, you should budget on at least about a half hour of time to drive from Westlake to the beaches in Palm Beach. Before I mention some of the builders that they have out there and how they're operating and so forth, I need to say this. If you're interested in buying in anywhere in Westlake with a new construction, with a new construction builder and company, I think it's very important for you to have independent representation. If you don't do this, you're basically going to the seller and negotiating directly with the seller, and you're negotiating with people that work for the builder, who might not necessarily have your best interest in mind. It's our suggestion that that you get independent representation. What does independent representation cost to you as a buyer? Well, out of your pocket, it costs nothing. The builder is happy to pay us because in the end, people like myself, we refer many clients to these builders, and they eventually become homeowners, so they're happy to pay our fee as realtors. So in a nutshell, if you're looking to buy in here, you need to go to the builder. When you go to the builder, you need to bring your realtor on your first visit. If you do not do that, the builder will most likely not allow you to get independent representation. We perform, like on my company as an example, we perform a lot of value added to the buyers, such as review contracts. We have independent transaction coordinators that will review everything with you, make sure and keep the builder on timelines and help them to keep accountable. In a nutshell, on your first visit, you should make sure, or if you're out of town, have your realtor pre-register you ahead of your first visit to the community. So here I'm going to give you another pro, and this pro is very, very pointed, very specific. If you're looking for a 55 and older community, Westlake has one of the best 55 and older communities I know. This community is called Crestwind. Crestwind is a community that is built by the builder Coulter Homes. I find them to be highly regarded. And what they're also going to do is, and I'll get into the amenities later, a little bit about the overall amenities at Westlake. Crestwind they're going to have their separate amenities. So if if you live in Crestwind, you can expect not just the amenities that the community brings overall and all the value that is. You'll have your own on-site in the community at Crestwind, a whole another plethora of things to do. So what's good about what they provide at Crestwind, and it's true of many 55 and older communities, but especially what I mentioned in regards to Crestwind, they have people on staff, they have lifestyle directors. And what they do is I've used this term before, what they do is they help keep you living life as if it's 7 Saturdays. And the other good thing here is the Crestwind Clubhouse has not actually finished yet. It's actually going to finish. It's scheduled to finish within a month. So you're getting in on the ground floor, and the renditions from what I've seen of this clubhouse, between the bocce ball, the pickleball, the resort style pool, everything they have to offer, it's going to be quite a sight. When all is said and done, Crestwind is going to have a total of 800 homes. Which is so it's not going to be the biggest community, sub-community within Westlake, but it will be rather large. The one thing I really am impressed with them, if you go to when we go to like the models and I bring clients there, they have a lot of models. So they have models for all, starting from very small to large. So if you're not really sure about what your fit is in terms of the model of your home, ranch, 2-story, and so forth, Crestwind is a great choice to consider, because they give you lots of choices when it comes to picking the style of your home. The other good thing about Crestwind is the process to get in is significantly easier than some of the other builders. The wait list, and we'll get more into that later, the wait list is a lot more, is shorter, and the process is a lot faster to get in if you're interested in buying a home in Crestwind within Westlake, Florida. One of the cons when it comes to moving to Westlake, Florida is it is controlled by primarily one builder. As I mentioned earlier, the Minto bought that property out there way back when, and yes, they have sold pieces of it to other entities, and like the hospital and the other couple builders that are out there. But Minto is very careful about who they sell it to, when they sell property, and they're likely to sell the property again, as there will be 4,500 homes in the end, and there's still a lot more to go. But in the end, Minto controls the area. This is different than other areas. If you look at places like nearby Avenir or nearby Arden, they have several builders in there, so it's not as much of a monopoly when it comes to building homes in the other areas. So I would consider Westlake really to be under the control of one builder, which can potentially be a con. So you want to move to Westlake, and you're not 55, you don't want a 55 and older community, and I'll tell you more about the Minto wait list later. And you want an all-age alternative to perhaps Minto. Here's a pro. There's a really good one out there, and that development is Sky Cove. Sky Cove is built by the builder, Label and Company, and I find it to be very good value. And one of the reasons the demand, let me sidetrack slightly here. One of the reasons the demand for Westlake is so high, and it is very high, is that the price point that they provide is quite compelling. Other communities nearby, like Avenir as an example, Avenir, which is a little bit north and a little bit further east, to get in, the entry-level price to get into Avenir now is in the 800,000s. You can get into Westlake, whether it's Crestwind, Sky Cove, or Minto, for less than that. So the price is very compelling. So Sky Cove is, I find, again, circling back to them, it provides great value. When you go visit Sky Cove, they have more models. They have approximately 10 models. They've added a couple recently, but they have 4 models that you actually can visit in person. While people have been drawn to the value and the entry-level price you can get into Sky Cove, some of the feedback I get from our clients is that it's too small. And so in general, the homes at Sky Cove, relative to the Minto builders at Westlake, the homes are smaller, and that was some of if there was negative feedback to Sky Cove, that would have been it. So what I found, which was I thought great for for Sky Cove, and I'm seeing more people with interest in Sky Cove because of it. Is they've added models in recent months, and the models that they added were on the larger side. My sense is that Sky Cove figured that this was the case, that they probably did get the feedback that their homes were on the smaller side, so they wanted to provide a larger home alternative. So the largest model there that I love the floor plan, and it actually addresses all these, is called the Sand Dollar Grand. Sand Dollar Grand is, if you're looking at the size, square feet, it's 22 square feet under air. In Florida, just so you know, we use that term quite a lot, square foot under air. And the reason is it's under air conditioning is what it stands for, just so you know. And we also, another term for it can be living space. In Florida, when we judge the basis of a home on how large it is, we have total square feet and we have living space or under air. Anything under air conditioning, that's what we consider the living space. And when you look at total space, they're including things such as the garage and maybe even the covered lanais and loggias and things such as that. So one of the pros when it comes to moving to Westlake, Florida is the HOA is actually quite reasonable. If you look at what value the homeowners association brings, the value is just it's incredible. The reason is you have 4,500 homes. It's planned to be 4,500 homes when all is said and done. So you're able to spread the cost of all these amenities over a larger base, which makes the HOA, the homeowners association fee, rather affordable. So if you have any questions about the HOA and what things provide, I actually have a sheet as to what that provides. I can give you prices, but the truth is they change rather quickly. But overall, when I look at the HOA, the homeowners association fees, they are significantly lower than other communities in the area here in South Florida. The other thing we could do is we have a list of all the schools. So if you're wondering what schools you're districted for when it comes to Westlake, because we get that, our team gets that question a lot. We have it's one of the number one questions is what schools and all that. I'll say that you don't necessarily have to go to the schools you're districted for. I always say that, but it's always good to know that if you're living in a particular area, are they A-rated schools? What are the plans for future schools? These are important points. If you have any questions about that, reach out. So one of the pros when it comes to living in Westlake, Florida are the amenities. The amenities are killer. They have this area they call the Adventure Park. It is a large resort style pool. They have slides there. They have a concession stand there. They have all different kinds of amenities at Westlake. They have a fitness center. They have tennis. They're building this area called an adult area. The Adventure Park is for families. It's for people of all ages. They're in the process of building an adult swim area as well, which is going to. I've seen renditions of it. It's going to be pretty neat. So in general, when you move to Westlake, Florida, there is simply a lot to do there. So one of the cons when it comes to moving to Westlake, Florida is it is really hard in general to get in there. The price point is so compelling. If we look at the Minto builders in Westlake, they actually manage the wait list very well. But because demand is so high, it's one of those things that make it difficult to get in there, especially on a short-term basis. As you can appreciate, my team and I, we have very strong relationships with the builders. It's as a team that one of our specialties is new construction homes in South Florida. It's important for us to have a strong relationship with the builders. They will always alert us when things are coming up, and it's one of the advantages we provide to our clientele when it comes to buying homes in South Florida. The wait list at the Minto builders at Westlake, they basically have two wait lists. They have a VIP list. If you are on that VIP list, you will be allowed to participate in the lot releases that come out every single month. They release about 20 lots a month, which actually is quite a lot. If I look at the other communities around South Florida, that's actually the most of any other community. And one of the reasons the builders do this is because as you might have heard in the news, the supply chain and the materials and the cost of materials going up, and the ability to get the materials has been hard. So they could sell these homes a lot faster than they currently are if it weren't for the fact that there's a shortage in labor and a shortage in materials these days. So I mentioned you get on the VIP list, you start receiving those lot releases every month, and you start participating. Prior to that, if you want to get on the Minto's interest list, there's an interest list, it's called. The interest list, and then you get on the VIP list. And they don't really, you can ask the question, how long does it take to get from the interest list to the VIP list? And they won't really tell you because they don't want to be held accountable to it. But in general, it's you can call us. It's approximately 3 or 4 months right now, but that changes. There was a time, and I know the people out there very well. There was a time that VIP list was about 500 people, which is way too high, way too high, and you had 500 people competing for 20 lots, and it became frustrating to people. So I must say again, in general, the Westlake, Minto, they've managed their wait list, their wait process, and the process to buy a home rather well. If you don't have the patience of the Minto wait list, there are other. You can go to Sky Cove. Sky Cove, the process is faster. They actually do have some spec homes that they work on from time to time. They currently have some. And also Crestwind, they have a wait list, but their wait list, in my experience with clients, is significantly shorter. One of the other factors I need to mention is they are very, very pro their own lender over there. So they even have terms, Minto Westlake, they even have terms that if you use an outside lender, they require you to put down more money. So call our office if you want to learn more about that. So there's every builder is different when it comes to in-house lenders, but so they really do compel you to use their lender when it comes to buying in Westlake. And I find similar with the other communities such as Crestwind and Sky Cove, but it's particularly, don't want to use the term aggressive, it's particularly more so when it comes to using the lender at the communities of Minto Westlake. So now that Westlake is open a short period of time now, a few years, there are some people that have to move. And so what happens is they get relocated or something to that effect, and they have to move out of the area. So I keep a keen eye on homes that are available in the city of Westlake that are not sold through the builder, but that actually are resales. If you're interested in learning more about these resales, and give our team a call. We keep a keen eye on it, and we look for things that might that might interest you in terms of your specifications for a home. But that's some of the ways that we've been able to get people homes in the beautiful city of Westlake, Florida. So in a nutshell, that is the con. The con is the wait list at Westlake. And but we've figured out some ways to maybe speed the process up. Also, if you're looking to get in and even just have a conversation with a consultant there, trust me, they're so busy that it can take literally sometimes up to a month. I have a strong relationship with the builders, so I can help perhaps shorten that time and also get you better prepared as to what to expect to make your meetings with them more productive. Again, if you have questions about that whole process and whatnot, reach out to our team when it comes to Westlake. So if you're thinking about checking out new construction homes in South Florida, you owe it to yourself to check out the city of Westlake, Florida.